We all have wants in life, some big things, some small things. And how we as humans achieve those wants is by setting goals. As you can see behind me, my goal is to look like this. And in the thought bubbles above my head, you can see some other examples of goals that participants in my study talked about during their interviews, such as eating healthier, making new friends, quitting marijuana, or buying a house. The aim of my thesis was to look at the fact that some people just seem to be better at achieving goals than other people, and ask the question, why? To do this, I interviewed 48 participants, and I asked them about a current goal that they were trying to achieve. I then analyzed those interviews, and I looked for common themes that started to materialize. Now, for all of you who have done a thesis, 48 interviews is a lot of data. So, using previous literature, I organized my participants into groups based on their resourcefulness levels to try and make sense of what was going on. The findings that emerged were that our higher resourceful individuals set realistic goals. They used conscious planning. They also were internally motivated and looked at their setbacks as a way to learn and grow. Now, focusing back on my goal to become a wicked, ripped goddess of pure muscle, how can I use this stuff to make myself more successful? Well, firstly, my goal needs to be realistic. If I think I'm going to look like that overnight, I'm going to be pretty disappointed, I think. So, it's important that I understand it's going to take time to make changes and a long-term commitment to both diet and exercise. Secondly, goals take conscious planning. I'm not just going to be able to hope I go to the gym this week and maybe wish I have enough willpower to drive by delicious McDonald's every time I see it. But instead, I'm going to need to sit down and decide, when am I going to go to the gym specifically? What am I going to do there? And maybe plan out a few meals so I don't give in to convenience. Thirdly, internal motivation is paramount. Although people outside of you can help support you along your way, you have to decide at the very beginning if the things that you're going to have to do are going to be worth it and the sacrifices are going to be something you can commit to. Finally, you're going to have to, unfortunately, look at the times that you've failed. It's not fun, but when we look back on those times, we can figure out what went wrong so we can make changes moving forward and get us past feeling stuck. I, for one, had to look at why I may not have been going to the gym as often as I had planned. And I had been trying to go in the morning, but I, for one, am not a morning person. So instead of just being okay with the slip in my goal, or deciding that maybe someday I'll become an early bird, I switched it to go in the evenings. Simple as that. Through the goals, setting realistic goals, using conscious planning, being internally motivated, and looking at your setbacks as a way to learn and grow, the process of goal attainment can be that much smoother, and we can all choose to not give up. Thank you.